Hey Daddies. So today, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is the first video I'm going to do where we all just talk about books and have a good time. 2024 books I have read, 65 books. Most of them were series. And I started reading like in 2022, like religiously. The first one I want to start off with is Wildfire. I think I rated that one 4 stars in the beginning, but now I'm thinking about it, it's a 3-star. It wasn't bad. I don't know, because I've never like really got into reading too much, or like I didn't know what I was looking for in reading, but it wasn't my favorite book of all time. It's like they're at a campsite. That's kind of all I remember. It's been a hot minute since I've read it. It just wasn't my favorite book, and that's okay. The next one is like the Thoughtless series by S.C. Stevens. My mom recommended me this series. I read the first one in 2022. No, not 2022, 2023. But they're so close together that I'm going to count it as 2024. Don't hate me on that. The first one was 5 stars for me. The last 2 were 4 stars. I don't know if it's because the drama really happened in the first one, but I really enjoyed it. Basically a girl who moves to Seattle to be with her boyfriend because her boyfriend got a job. So she's like, great, I'm gonna live with him. I see forever with him. They move in with her boyfriend's childhood best friend. He's a rock star. You can just kind of go off on what's gonna happen there. The next one I read, I have this one near and dear to my heart. It's the ACOTAR series, or A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. This one has near and dear to my heart because it is the first fantasy read I have ever read. I was very hesitant on starting it because I've heard people say the first book wasn't, like, it really like veered them off. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna read it. And turns out, loved it. The first book, definitely, I was like, okay, this is a lot of like details and world building and blah blah blah. I didn't think I could do it. And then bam, loved it. Finished the whole series, I think, in, I don't know, a week, maybe 2, depending. I don't know. I'm not a fast reader for the most part. But yeah, I rated, I think, every book in that 5 stars in that series besides Frost and Starlight, which is like a Christmas special. It's like retelling of Beauty and the Beast. The first 3 books besides Frost and Starlight, so A Court of Thorns and Roses, A Court of Mist and Fury, and A Court of Wings and Ruin, are about Feyre and her point of view and what she went through. They're all first person. The last one, A Court of Silver Flames, yeah, follows her older sister Nesta and what she goes through. You don't have to read A Frost and Starlight, but it has some key details in there, so kind of whatever you would decide. The Powerless trilogy by Lauren Roberts. I enjoyed Powerless. It is a YA fantasy romance. It's like Hunger Games. There's these ordinary and elites. It follows this girl named Peyton and Kai. Peyton is an ordinary, but she gets selected for these trials. She's an ordinary, but no one knows that. So she completes in these trials as a human girl against all these elites. And it's like a love thing with Kai and her. The 3rd book comes out in April. So I'm definitely going to read it. But 4 stars. Throne of Glass. I've read ACOTAR and Throne of Glass back to back. Powerless was, I think, after. I'm not sure. I really enjoyed Throne of Glass. I read it, I know there's different reading orders. So I read Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, and then Assassin's Blade. Don't hate me. That's what from everyone I've watched on TikTok and all that, they said read it that way. So that's what I did, and I cried. For sure. I think it's more the emotional way to go. Thorn and Glass was 4 stars to me. And Tower of Dawn was 4 stars to me. Thorn and Glass, I was just like, I was confused. I didn't know what was going on. It is more fantasy than like romantasy, which I was not expecting. And that's on me. But I think overall the series is 4.5, 5 stars. I loved it. You just need to read it and then just take everyone's opinion for it and just bite the bullet. That's all I have to say. That's all I have to say. If you see me looking over here, it's because I have the books pulled up that I've read. I can't keep track of everything. The next one is Crescent City. Oh, hi. You saying hi to everyone? You saying hi? This is my cat, Apricot, and he is the sweetest little boy ever. Isn't that right? Say hi. Alright. I'm not on the laptop. Okay, go away. Crescent City. I didn't love this series. I don't know if it was because I'm just so used to like ACOTAR and Thorn and Glass and all these other ones, but Crescent City, it felt, I don't know. First one I loved. I rated that 5 stars because I read it with the dramatized audiobooks, and I was also reading it when I was on flights. So I really paid attention to it. I loved it. I kept going with it. Second book, I don't know why people say that was their favorite book. I did not enjoy it. It felt like everything was jumping all over the place, and I don't know. I just didn't enjoy it. And I just didn't connect with the characters. Overall, the series was 4 stars. Don't hate me, don't hate me. I rated the last 2 4. After I read all those fantasy books, I read the Lord series by Chantal Tessier. I think that's how you say her name. I ate this up. I read the first one, The Ritual, in 2023, I believe. But I read the rest this year. Or 2024, sorry. Sinner, loved it. Rated it 4 stars. It's a lot of smut and dark. If you have no triggers, go for it. The Sacrifice with Tyson, immaculate, 5 stars. Loved it. Favorite one. Carnage was my least favorite. I just didn't connect with them. I don't know why. I just didn't enjoy it. I don't know. Take it with what you will. I don't know. The Spine Ridge series, don't even. It's always it's a dark bully romance, which is fine, but it's 3 guys to 1 girl in every book, but these societies or these clubs or sororities or whatever you want, frat houses, thank you, couldn't think of the word, wasn't good. I think I rated every book 2 stars, and I'm not planning on continuing it. Playing for Keeps by Becca Mack. I love a good hockey romance. I don't know what it is, but it's just in my bones. I read the first one, Consider Me, in 2022. Rated it 5 stars. And then the rest of the books I have read this year, I love them. It's found family, hockey romance. There's a good amount of spice in it. And every story is a different one. So read them. That's all I have to say. Read them. We Used to Live Here. I forgot who it's by. It's a thriller mystery kind of vibe. It was my first one I've ever read. I rated it 4 stars. I jumped around in my opinion. I'm sure people will love it, but I just don't like thriller or mystery. I don't know what's wrong with me. It just is what it is. And I read Incidents Around the House. I DNF'd it. I got like 70 to 80% through. I DNF'd it. There was no ending to this story, I don't feel like. It just kept going and going and going and going. So DNF'd. If I had to finish it, it would probably be a 1 star. But I DNF'd it, so I can't really say. Little Stranger by Lee Rivers. Is it fucked up? Absolutely. But it's so good. I listened to the audiobook of it and I followed along. So I immersive read it. Loved it. It's spicy. It's quick. I don't know. It's between 2 foster sibling. So if you have triggers, then don't read it. But Joe Arden, like listening to him, he does That Sick Love by Jesse Hall. If I'm being honest, I don't remember the whole plot of it. It's this dark stalker romance, but it also has something to do with like church. And I don't know. I don't remember it, but I rated it 4 stars because I really enjoyed it. I listened to the audiobook as well. Maybe that's why I rated it 4 stars. But I loved it. No Place to Hide. This book is just purely smut. I needed to read another book to hit my reading goal, so I read a quick 100-page book. And this was this one. It's a girl at a carnival getting chased by a carny. We're not here to judge. Phantasma. This, I read this around Halloween time. I loved it. I finished it at like 4:30 in the morning or whatever it was. 5 stars between Bromwell and Ophelia. It just, I don't know. It's like dark Hunger Games, Saw trials. It's just so good. Just so much. I loved it. If you had any book to read that one. Nocticadia by Carrie Lake. This is the first Carrie Lake book I have read. I read it and it's just so good. It is my first dark academia book and it's between a professor and a student. Love that. So age gap. And they're also trying to solve this like mysterious disease with these like black worms. It's just so good. So good. I highly recommend that one. I gave that one 5 stars. And the Legacy of God series. It has like God of Malice, God of Wrath, God of Fury, God of War, and God of something. I'm so sorry. But I ate up the series 100%. I couldn't get into it at first with God of Malice, but I still ate up the rest of the series. God of Fury I love the series. God of War was my least favorite for sure, and then it was God of Malice. But all the other books are 5 stars. Loved them. It follows like these college students and like they're like rival schools. So good. The Monster Trilogy by Raina Kent. It was my first mafia romance, I believe it was. It was fine. It's 3 books. First one I rated 3 stars. I couldn't get into it because it was also like military. So this girl is trying to find information about who killed her family. She's supposed to be dead, so she pretends to be this man. It's like Mulan kind of vibes. She pretends to be this man in the army to, you know, train and also find information who killed her family. And her captain runs a mafia. So he takes a couple of them back to the States, I believe, to be his guards. And you can just kind of go from there, what happens. Overall, series was 4 stars. I ate up the second one in one day. I think it's pretty good. Lights Out, 3 stars. I love the audio, but I feel like it jumped around a lot. And the plot, I didn't understand. The guy who narrated, I think Jacob Morgan? I don't know. He was great. And the girl was great too. The audio was great. I just didn't understand what's happening. I don't know. I would still recommend, 100%. Anathema by Carrie Lake. I wanted another gothic romance, and this one just came out from her, I think in September of 2024. So I read it. I was very confused at first because a lot of terms. There was a whole like 6-page glossary that you had to read. Very confusing, but I believe it ended on a cliffhanger. I can't remember too much of it. But the second book supposed to come out in 2025, so we will see what happens with that. Windy City series. I read the first 2 books in 2024. The last 2, 3, 2025. I ate it up. I don't understand why people didn't like the first one. I enjoyed it so much. I enjoyed Xander and Stevie. It wasn't my favorite, no, but I find it very entertaining. I love a good hockey romance, like I said. But it's based off this found family in Chicago. The first book is about this flight attendant and this hockey player, and he has a huge ego, and she takes no shit from him, basically. The second one, it was okay. People say that was their favorite, but it was fine. Basketball player and Stevie's best friend. I forgot her name. He calls her Blue. And Indy. Her name's Indy. Thank you very much. But it was a vibe. The whole series, I think, was 4 stars in my opinion. 4.5. The last couple books were my favorite. And then I read Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. I put these books off for so long because A, they were overhyped. Or I would say overhyped. They were hyped up a lot. And I was scared that I would like it more than ACOTAR. ACOTAR, like I said, has a special place in my heart because it's the first fantasy book I've ever read. I ate up Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. Fourth Wing more than Iron Flame, but I still ate both of them up. I listened to the dramatized versions, like the audiobooks for both. I don't know if that helped, but I loved it so much. I never read a Dragon Rider book ever in my life. I'm obsessed with Xaden. Highly recommend. I have not read Onyx Storm yet. I'm not reading it till the dramatized audiobooks come out. Don't come at me. I can wait. I don't need to look at the TikToks of it. I'll wait. All I'm saying is you're going to cry in the first one and you're going to cry in the second one. Third one, you're probably going to cry. I don't know. Well, that is it for my 2024 reads. Let me know if you guys have any book recommendations or how I can make these videos a little bit better. I'm willing to learn. Bye, Daddies.